the average American is so poor. Yes, don't get me wrong. I mean, the poor meaning is in cash. I find most of America, average America, they cannot get 1,000, 2,000 cash. Of course, probably they put their money into the investment, but they're really poor in cash. I remember once, I think 2 years ago, when I took my vacation to Wisconsin, Green Bay, and I, went to the bar and talked to the people. The people told me that the point we spend 1 hour, 2 hours drinking together, and then comes some of co-worker. They're working in the bar, and this guy told me that I don't know why we're talking about the money, and he told me that this co-worker they cannot get 1,000 cash out because they don't have 1,000 cash. At that time, I was surprised. I think maybe it's maybe he said it's over too much. Well, maybe these people they're doing the bar job. Maybe they don't get good pay, so I don't take this into too much into my head. And then after I work for the security company, and I visit a lot of homeowner house, the house owner, because I need to sell the home security system to these people. And I find what the guy said is true. Because our system, in average, the price is 1,500 something. And then I met a lot of customers. They have nice house. And they told me that they cannot afford this price. I'm sure that then because we don't give any further discount, they just cannot afford the price. And that's let me think. Okay, these people they have nice house, and big house, but they cannot take they cannot pay $1,500 for the system. So that's really let me thinking why America is so poor in cash. The answer I also find is depends on the people how they spend the money, what is their lifestyle, all these questions. But I think from my point of view, most of Americans they don't have urgent to save money. I mean, if for example your salary is 3,000 and your living expenses is 4,000, of course you cannot save money because you are in the deficit. But the life, paycheck by paycheck, this kind of lives, I think, and also I read one research said most American, the average family, they cannot survive 4 or 5 months because otherwise, if they don't work, they cannot afford to pay any expenses. That's really horrible news for me. Because I came from China. So America is the number one biggest economic country, and China is number two. But I think most of Chinese family, of course, it looks not so wealthy like American people, but they have saving. Most of the people, they have the saving. If you ask them to take, for example, $1,500, I believe that most of the family, they can take this money out. But the problem is they don't want to spend the money. So the salary if you make the salary comparison, China is much lower than the US. And the people live, okay, some people said, okay, we have a high expenses in the United States. That's true. But don't forget that you also have high salary. So my understanding is because the Chinese people, they're not, like to saving money because they have the concerns. They have the kind of what I call it is emergency fund because the Medicare system in China is not so good like US, and also the money from the government is also much less than the US. So the Chinese people, they know that I cannot rely on the government. They have to live by themselves. So let's talk about how American people spend the money. From my experience in working in the security system, I know that some of the people, they actually cannot afford the system. But because his neighbor or her neighbor installed the system, and they want to have the system either, even they cannot afford this system. So what we do is, okay, you cannot pay the cash, but we can financing you. It's so-called zero down payment, zero interest, and you can break down the cost for 36 months or 60 months, and then they want to pay for that. But for me, after 36 months, 60 months, you have to pay the whole price for the system. Because let you think, okay, your payment term is longer, so you can afford that. But the question is, your financial ability is not allowed you to buy the system. So I also most of the time I visit estate sale. And when you went to the estate sale, you will find so many staff in the room, clothing, kitchen accessories, furnitures, all this kind of stuff. I can't believe that there's sometimes I feel, wow, even you can find out unboxed things, never used, but people spend money for that. And when I, do the delivery, I also feel that, people, they turn on the light in the daytime. And that's really, waste a lot of money for that. So when the people tell me that we have high expenses, but I believe that you can find a way to actually save the money. Take me example. When I was a child, if, for example, I stayed in the room, I turn on the light, and after I exit the room, if the light is still on, definitely I will get, shouting from my parents because they don't like things happen like this. When I have a dinner or lunch with family, even the taste of the food is maybe not so good, but I have to completely finish all the, food. You cannot waste the food. So this is a lesson I learned from my parents. I believe the most of the Chinese, my generation, they do the same. And also, another example I can say is because, a lot of people that have the backyard, big house, and they are actually separated with their neighbors. So during the summer, I don't know why we don't use the sunlight to dry the clothes or dry the bed sheet. Why we should put it into the laundry? And because maybe people say, oh, it's not so, looks not so nice. I don't think this is a good excuse. Of course, if you are living in the big community or apartment or condo, and you're doing like this, maybe your neighbor don't like that. But if you have the big house, you have the big yards, you do this, I don't think you interfere others' view. So in China, people usually they drive the clothes by sunshine. I think it saves a lot of electricity. I mean, you have a lot of way to save the money, at least. So probably what I said is maybe I didn't know too much about American, but from my point of view, really, people really waste a lot of money for unnecessary things, unnecessary stuff. They pay too much for that. And another thinking is because I think maybe the two country system is different. So in America, I think people get more opportunity to work. They get more chance to work. So they don't worry too much that they lost the job because they can find job really easily. But in China, because I think China suffer from a lot of disaster, so people may be more concerned about their future. So that's the reason I think probably the mentality, lifestyle are totally different. Okay, today we just talk about these things. If you like my channel, subscribe, and we see each other next time. Bye bye.